Hello, hello. Welcome in.
Welcome, everybody. We're here for another awesome Legacy tournament.
Legacy evening. Okay. Well, I just heard them post the players, so we should have pairings up pretty soon here.
Yep, Legacy.
Yes. Absolutely Legacy. I don't think we've stopped doing standard completely, Blink. So just Legacy from us. Maybe from time to time I'll show a cube, but
pretty much all Legacy all the time.
Yeah.
Welcome, Crooked Sidewalks.
Welcome in.
Nice to see you.
All right. So, I've seen all the spoilers for the new set.
Mm-hmm.
I know what everybody asks. You know, everybody's like, what's going to change Legacy? And I'm gonna give people an answer that they're not gonna be surprised to hear. Not much.
Fair enough.
I don't think much is gonna change.
You know, I think it takes a lot to break in.
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does. I mean, how long did it take for people to realize that Tireless Tracker was a decent card? And was a Legacy playable card. Probably didn't take them as long as it could have, but they figured it out. Search for Azcanta, they picked up very quickly.
Definitely.
All right, looks like we're getting our info in now. And that way we can get started.
10 players tonight.
Yeah, smaller tournament. Okay. And
people are starting to get their way towards the tables.
We got Nathan and Bryce and Daniel and Davis. Ooh. Let's watch Bryce. Who am I kidding? We're watching Bryce.
Do we know what Bryce is on today?
Usually he's on some kind of Delver deck, but he could be on something else. He said he had to get his deck ready. So now I don't
maybe
know what
there's
to say.
some spice in there.
Perhaps. Okay, let's get over there. They're getting all shuffled up and whatnot.
As always, the best shuffle cams. Best
we
shuffle cams on all of Twitch. Right
on
here.
All of Twitch. We don't want to leave anything out here.
Of course not.
All right, and then our backup, we've got Davis, who I believe he's on Show and Tell, or Sneak and Show, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm not sure what Daniel's on.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll watch our Tuesday caster, though. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Nate's on either. He likes to brew a little more than the average Legacy player, I think.
Even better.
Yeah.
Brewing is not easy in Legacy.
Definitely not. Okay.
All right. Incoming dice rolls. Nate rolls an 11. That's gonna be hard to beat.
unless it's odd or even. Batasai, welcome in. What's gravy? Everything's gravy.
Everything's gravy when you're potatoes.
Okay. Well, let's see.
So we see opening hands being drawn. We've got. I saw a Baleful Strix in Bryce's hand. I saw Tropical Island comes into play on Nate's side.
All right. Yeah, looks like some kind of Grixis deck from Bryce.
Yep. Some Deathrite Shaman action coming in.
Well, it looks like Nate is on a Stifle deck. We call it Dark Shift because of the first tournament he played it in. So we're gonna keep that name.
Dark Shift. Okay.
Pretty much, he wrote down on his deck list that it was Bant Stifle, and his penmanship was so poor that it looked like it said Dark Shift.
Wow.
Therefore, it stuck. It's another Nick Fit kind of a naming story.
Okay. Well, 4 colors so far on Nate's side of the board, or 3 colors at least.
Yeah. It's Bant, and then he added black.
Bryce with that Baleful Strix.
That's right. Bryce is on this 4 color.
Jay Winner, you're not wrong.
I know, and I think we should I think we should keep that. I think we should continue to let the people who come up with the deck list name the deck.
There's a long to some tradition.
Extent. Yeah, to some extent. So Bryce is on Dark Shift, exactly, Brian. So Bryce is on a deck that has seen a little bit of play by their name is Clashed on MTGO, and it plays with like a bunch of planeswalkers. Like it has like 1 Jace, 1 Chandra Torch of Defiance, 2 Dak Faden, and I want to say there's 1 other. I can find it. I'm kind of curious.
Interesting.
So it's just a 4-color control deck, but some of the numbers are a little different than what most people would be used to. I'll see if I can find it for you guys to let you guys know what the planeswalkers are.
No idea, Captain. All right, so it looks like we've got a GT in play for Nate, and another Baleful Strix in play. And Bryce is kind of figuring out what he wants to do here.
I think this is the one. 2 Dak Faden, 1 Liliana, 1 Chandra Torch of Defiance, and a Jace the Mind Sculptor. Everything else seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
4 Deathrite Shaman, 3 Baleful Strix, 3 Snapcaster Mage, and a Leovold. I wonder if he's actually playing with the Rise Falls.
Rise Fall would be interesting.
We'll find out. You call it Punishing Thieves. It does have Punishing Fire in it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that name, Punishing Thieves.
Sure, let's change it. I like it. How do you spell thieves? I honestly don't know. Somebody help me out. Is that how you spell thieves? Probably not.
Alright, I see a Dak in Bryce's hand. That would be kind of an interesting thing. We see the GT in play. I wonder if he opts to steal that GT, or whether he just goes and draws some cards. Or if he has a better play.
He doesn't have much of a threat on board right now, so I'm kind of surprised that he didn't just jam a threat.
Very interesting to kind of keep the rest in hand there. Here we see a Wasteland coming in on the Volcanic Island, and I believe that's just going to happen. Looks like we might see a Brainstorm in response.
Yeah, Captain QC. I'm pretty sure he did take the list from Clashed. The spelling's correct. Oh, man.
Nope.
I exceeded my own expectation for myself.
So in Bryce's hand, we see Lightning Bolt, Force of Will. He's putting back a couple cards on the top with his Brainstorm. And he's going to Bolt face in response. Volcanic goes to the graveyard. Untaps, draws one of those lands he put on top for his turn. Plays an Underground Sea. And in for 1.
So now he doesn't have the red mana necessary to cast his Dak Faden.
Snapcaster coming in, targeting a Ponder, it looks like.
Depends if this gets stifled or not. He's gonna let that go, and Ponder's gonna be cast.
Yep, and we're gonna see a Spell Pierce come in. And I know Nate has a Force of Will in hand. I'm assuming that means he still has a blue card for it.
He'd probably throw away the Dak Faden. He could be waiting for a red source to cast it, but I usually you pitch the card you can't cast, right?
Yeah. We see Bryce coming in for 3. I believe I saw another lightning bolt in hand as well, which is another uncastable. And incoming Abrupt Decay.
Abrupt Decay is going to take care of this Jite. Kind of surprising that he was so willing to just take out Jite even though it's not doing anything.
Sure. Swords coming in. Second swords of the game for Nate. And Bryce is kind of thinking about whether he wants that to happen or not. I think it is kind of tempting with Nate's life total at 9 already. And there we see the Force of Will on the swords. Nate down to 6.
Yeah, Nate's in trouble. I mean, this is just a couple of small creatures, but he hasn't gotten anything rolling this game. FNM is Legacy 2? Yeah.
Wow, and we see a third swords coming in.
You hate us for that. Well, Doffix, you're always welcome here. You can always come hang out with us. Okay, so there's a polluted delta.
Okay. So
we don't.
That should mean that Bryce has access to another red source, and that bolt is going to put Nate dangerously close to death.
Right. Okay, now you know I love you guys. We love you too. Yeah, but another fetch land. This keeps Bryce's plan of just yes, we do have miracles in the room today, Giovanni. Welcome in, Jorgensen.
Hi, Jorgensen.
One more hit from this.
Yep.
And he has force backup, doesn't he?
I believe so.
Lightning bolt.
So I think we might see an in response here to the Leovold. And this is in response to the fetch.
Yeah, it looks like one of these fetches is going to get stifled.
Yep. So stifle on one of the fetches, fetch again, get a volcanic island, and I believe we're going to see a bolt in response to this Leovold coming into play.
Yep, that'll do it. Look at that. Bryce winning on camera.
Alright, game 1 goes to Bryce.
Let's take a look at our other table. Doesn't look like anybody's playing on our other table. Maybe they didn't get the notification to go sit at the table.
Fair enough.
So we'll just stay here for now.
So if you're Nate, we still didn't really see what Nate's trying to do. We saw one stifle. We saw a Jite. We saw a Leovold.
There's also a Death Right.
And
so
we saw a bunch of swords. That's about it.
I've seen the deck before. This is a deck that is using True Name Nemesis, and as its win con, and then it has like Ramanap Excavator, Wasteland, Stifle plan.
Sure.
So Spell Pierce gets a lot of use that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just oh, okay. Yes, we don't have a backup match.
So a couple things that you could kind of think about from Bryce's side when sideboarding. He definitely saw Jite, which means he might be thinking about Stoneforge and how to deal with that. He definitely saw the Stifle, so he's going to be a bit more careful about when he fetches and how he's going to play with that. And you have to kind of think that he is on a bit more of a creature beatdownish plan, having seen Leovold and a couple other threat type cards.
Yeah, he's got Jite in the main.
So if you're Bryce, I think you're going to try to go wide and keep in a bunch of your creature hate.
Yep.
And
Bryce's deck goes much bigger. With 5-ish planeswalkers in the deck. I imagine those are going to be really difficult for Nate to handle.
Yeah.
And Stifle can temporarily do something to a planeswalker, but it very seldomly actually hits like an ultimate.
Yeah. You have to think like Chandra, Torch of Defiance, and Liliana are really going to pull a lot of weight here. All right, looks like they're drawing opening hands. We'll see if they have some keepers, and we'll get started. So on Bryce's side, we see not many lands in that opening hand.
No.
Looked like a volcanic, and that might have been about it.
Yeah, you kind of want a heavy land hand against a deck that you know is going to be attacking your mana.
And Nate's side, Nate's thinking about it too. Looks like I don't know. I saw at least one land in Nate's hand. Seems pretty content with what he's got. So we see a Ponder, a Brainstorm.
Rise Falls.
Wow.
No, the basic island is good for him to have, but that's not going to cut it. Yeah, if Nate has a punishing hand at all, this is going to go quick.
Definitely.
Don't want to mulligan against decks like this.
Bryce down to 5 too, and man, each one of those cards feels like it's worth 3, especially in this type of a matchup.
Right. Looks like he has 2 lands, and he's like, okay.
2 lands and a scry?
3 lands.
3 lands.
Liliana and Horizon Fall.
Okay. Not the worst 5.
No, in fact, I think that's close to where he wants it. If you're going to have a 5, right? Alright, Horizon Canopy comes down. He loses a life to cast his Deathray Shaman.
Bryce draws a land off the top as well, which could be important.
Yeah, but from this point, he probably doesn't need too much more.
So, fetching up the Volcanic Island, taking a look at that hand, and Rise-Fall likely just going to be a slightly worse Hymn to Torok in this game, if it gets cast. We see a turn 2 Leovold on Nate's side. And you have to imagine that that's not really what Bryce wants to see. Early pressure against a hand of 5. That Liliana is not really going to get much done versus Leovold when there's another creature in play to sacrifice as well.
And you know, I think that Bryce was thinking, okay, this hand can deal with the hate, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out that Nate's hand was a little more threat dense this game, and there's no answers. I mean, there's a couple of things, but not doing a whole lot.
Well, now you really don't want to even cast that Rise Fall for the fall mode, targeting Nate, having him draw a card. So Bryce kind of weighing the options. Here we see a fetch land put into play, cracked immediately. Bryce trying to play around Stifle as best he can. Searches up Bayou. And passes back. So Nate drawing for turn. Looks like we're going to see a ponder.
An Abrupt Decay and another ponder in there. Didn't see the other card.
I think it was a land.
That was just a land. Yeah, looks like it. Just needed that Tropical Island. Here's an attack for 3.
So if you're Bryce, what kind of sequence of draws do you need to get out of this? Does Bryce play any Toxic Deluge or anything of that like to get things going?
Not that I know of. In fact, I think he's behind just enough that he probably can't get back into this one very easily. He's behind on cards, right?
Sure.
We know that there are 4 lands in his hand.
Yeah.
Now, a Liliana's going to come down, and we're going to make... okay.
Oh, Spell Pierce on the Lily.
Yeah, and now things are worse.
Yeah.
I think Wasteland does well in most metas. Unless there's just a lot of sneak and show and Storm. Decks like that don't tend to care, but yeah, this meta, it absolutely matters.
Yeah, so if he does have something like a Deluge, that seems to me the easiest way to try and get back into this, but then he still has to deal with whether Nate has anything to deal with that. Any kind of counterspell, any other type of disruption that he might be able to pull together. And here comes a Notion Thief in response to a Brainstorm.
Well, that seems pretty good.
That's quite strong.
Well, I didn't really have that on my radar, so
okay.
You asked me before, what did you think?
And here Nate's gonna take a moment to read Notion Thief, and I think we'll try to pull it up as well. Oh, that Notion Thief is going to get swords.
Before the Brainstorm.
Before the Brainstorm.
Okay.
But
didn't quite get him, Jorgensen. Sorry. A little premature there. Gotta let that sucker resolve.
Well, if that had resolved, that would have been a huge swing in Bryce's
it really would have. Well, I mean, Leovold's still on the board, so all it really would have done was take away the draw.
Sure.
He would have gotten to draw 1.
Yeah.
Which is great. But he wouldn't have gotten the full effect of that 3 cards. So.
Sure. At the same time, though, just having a 3-powered creature in play to block a Leovold might have been a way back into the game for Bryce.
Yeah, it resolved, but not after being swords. I was talking about the Brainstorm. The Brainstorm has to resolve with the Notion Thief on board. Come on now. Oh, it was still Bryce's turn, so he wouldn't have drawn any. Okay, that makes sense.
Fair enough. Bryce down to 11.
But Nate still would have had to put 2 cards from his hand back on top after drawing nothing.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah.
Discussing a little bit of Notion Thief.
So I think they're talking about just what we were talking about, how he wouldn't have drawn any cards from it. And smartly, Nate has exiled the Notion Thief, which is going to stop it from being able to be Risefalled back into Bryce's hand.
Right, or a K command or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Ponder resolves. He's going to get a shuffle out of this one. He draws a card off of it, maybe. Oh, that's right. He doesn't get to draw off a Leovold. Silly Leovold.
Ah. That might be true nightmare. Alright. Nate takes his turn. Plays land. He's looking for what he wants to fetch up. It's going to be an Underground Sea. And I think we're pretty much in the same old spot here of this is a lot of pressure for Bryce to deal with. Now we see an Excavator come into play. Remnant Excavator.
Not doing a lot right now, but if there's a Wasteland that's ever drawn, then that would be pretty incredible.
There is a Canopy in play, so he is going to be able to potentially draw a
lot of cards. Yeah, and Bryce is like, I can't deal with this. He drew a Dak Faden, which doesn't do
cut it.
Yeah, it's not going to help him with a Leovold on the board. So we'll get to see a third game. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Notion Thief though.
Definitely.
The list that I was looking at, I don't think
there is one in the board in that list, right at the bottom.
Oh, there is. I missed it. There's a Pulse of Marasa as well.
Pernicious Deed would have been a way to kind of start clawing back into that game. Other than that, if he's on the same list that we're looking at here, there's not a whole ton that can deal with that situation.
This is the one that we're looking at. We're not sure if this is exactly where they're at. FNM Legacy Action. Oh yeah. Exactly. So yeah, this has got to be similar.
Yeah. And we do see one Deluge.
Oh, there's Deluge, right.
We see the Deed in the sideboard. You have to imagine both of those are in. Likely the Spell Pierces. I don't know. That's kind of on the edge, I think.
With all the Planeswalkers that have all the high mana costs, I mean, we haven't really seen them a lot. We've only seen the Liliana be cast.
Yeah.
He knows about Dak Faden.
Sure.
But there is a Jace and a Chandra.
Yeah.
Those are high mana.
Yeah.
Easily spell pierced.
You see a couple of Abrupt Decays in the main, Diabolic Edict, that sort of thing. You might... I believe I saw Collective Brutality was sided in by
Bryce.
By Bryce.
Yeah, and we know much less about what's in the sideboard for Nate.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he has in his sideboard at all.
All right. So right back at it. We've got a Ponder on Bryce's side. And we've had a Deathrite Shaman that's been swords.
Vervendi, the only reason I was able to pull up that list is because Bryce has copied a list for this tournament. Nate's Dark Shift deck is a brew. I haven't seen his deck at all. All I know is it's gonna stifle some things and wasteland some things. We saw Leovold, we saw Deathrite Shaman.
Surprisingly, we haven't seen many wastelands. We've seen maybe one. Game one.
Took him off a red for a moment.
For sure. So more shuffle action coming in, and here comes a Deathrite on Nate's side. Passes turn back.
I imagine this is going to get Fatal Pushed.
Bryce kind of thinking things through. He might try to go for a Strix here.
Yeah, Vervendi, there's definitely a chat delay, no question. If you're on mobile, it tends to be a lot worse.
So Volcanic comes in. Bryce points to his fetch land, says, "Gotta stifle." Nate says, "Nope, go ahead and search." Here we see Badlands coming in. And here comes that fatal push.
Seems like a pretty important thing to get off of the board. But if Eliavold comes down right here, that... Okay, here's a Wasteland. We've mentioned them. There they are. Brainstorm.
On top we see Culligan's Command, it looks like. And another land, fetch land.
Yeah, it's a Delta and an Abrupt Decay.
And an Abrupt Decay. Tropical Island goes away. Bryce draws for turn, and I'd be surprised if we didn't see. Wow.
Yeah,
so
that
Bryce just passes back. I was really expecting to see a Dak Fade-In or something added to the board for Bryce that turn.
I think he's waiting for Nate to play something, which I really don't like the line of doing because of things like Wasteland.
Nate with the second Wasteland here. Bryce fetching in response. And I think we might see a Snapcaster come into play this turn, which might be why Bryce held up, thinking, well, I can just kind of Snapcaster and do something.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's respecting exactly. But I kind of feel like this matchup is more of a jam your threats into counter magic kind of matchup.
I think we've seen a couple of threats already that would have been spell pierced. Here we see a Force pitching a Snapcaster on the Snapcaster of Bryce. So.
Yeah, that was about 30. That was about 30 seconds. You're right, guys. It's a 30-second delay. Pretty brutal. But we're still happy that you guys are here and chatting with us. You guys can let us know what's going on in the past, and we'll let you guys know what's going on in the future. Or in the present, I should say.
Ooh, so Excavator coming into play. And that's going to be huge for Nate.
Nate? Yeah, and Bryce doesn't have a green source for this Abrupt Decay. Culligan's Command doesn't kill it.
Yeah. Oh.
He's probably pointing at it like, why does it have 3 toughness?
Yep.
Oh, and he makes him discard, and Lingering Souls goes to the yard. What is Bitcoin worth in the future? Exactly the same as it is in the past, back where you're at. True Nightmare is ghosting.
So this Excavator is going to be able to take Bryce off of red completely this next turn, leaving Bryce with only blue and black, and then it's going to slowly start eating away all of Bryce's lands.
Right.
Yep, Excavator is a 2/3, not a 3/2.
Okay, so here's a Dak Fade-In. This is going to plus, and Bryce is now on the Desperation find lands, and look,
well, he did. He found 2, and one really important one there, Basic Island.
The other one's important as well. The red source is very, very relevant.
Red source is live.
But note that neither of them are green for Abrupt Decay.
Very true.
Hashtag Bryce Punt.
And also worth noting that Dak is probably not very long for this world, facing down a little bit of pressure.
Yeah. I think he needs to keep the lands and let the Pyroblast go. Or maybe he's thinking about getting rid of Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you need to get rid of the Pyroblast. And looks like Bryce is coming to the same conclusion.
Vervandy, I'll talk to him after the event, and maybe he'll give me his most updated list. And on Tuesday, when Bryce and I are here for commentary, maybe we can share it.
All right. So, incoming true name on Nate's side after wastelanding Bryce predictably off of red.
And look at this. This is a Leovold that still no green.
Yep. And
Chase the Mind Sculptor.
No real help off the top there.
No. Yeah, great point, Jorgensen. Definitely tune into Eternal Dirtles. They are awesome. And Nate is a great person for presenting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm even talking with him to see if I can have him in this studio once a week.
Yeah.
So he plays very fast, very efficiently, knows what he's built and what the purpose of the deck is.
It's always great to see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Bryce is going pondering. Let's see what the top three have in store. Looks like a Edict, Fetch Land, and I didn't see that last card.
Notion Thief.
Notion Thief. Okay, well, there's some stuff there. So I believe if you're Bryce, you can try to Edict and then possibly in the future have a Snapcaster do something. Like, you're never going to get up to enough mana to Snapcaster Edict. That's kind of the problem. Unless he draws another land.
Okay, I'm pretty surprised to see that this Edict is coming down after a main phase. This allows Nate to get one more attack in with one more Wasteland.
Yeah.
Whereas if he had cast it before, it might have gotten the true name Nemesis off the board because Ramaneth Excavator is more valuable.
Yep, and that might even save Dak for a turn.
See, and that's what I like doing it early is that he was tapped. First off, he was tapped out, right? Mm-hmm. Second off, it gives your opponent the opportunity to make a mistake, or to make a play into your line.
Sure, yeah. So Dak down, we see a waste on red source. Here comes a Snapcaster. And that's going to target Fatal Push. Okay. So I can kind of get behind that line, but at the same time, he still got wasted one more time.
And he lost his Dak Faden.
And he lost a Dak. So
this does give him a good opportunity to get rid of the board, though.
Edict is going to clear that up.
And now we're kind of in top deck mode. I'm sure that Nate has the necessary cards to deal with this Snapcaster, or at least deal with it by the time. Oh yeah.
Here we see a Lingering Souls flashback. That'll be a pretty clean answer.
A good look at our Cats and Cantrips spirit tokens.
Those ghosts are definitely reading up on how to be spooky.
They are. That is the title of the book, How to Be Spooky.
In for 2 on Nate's side. Plays another land. And I think if you're Nate, you should feel pretty okay about this position. Not as good as it was before, for sure.
No, he's got 3 cards in hand. Bryce is on 1. He's shuffling away his Notion Thief.
Cast Notion Thief.
Oh, he must have drawn it first. My bad. For some reason, I thought it was still the top card of his deck.
And no real gotcha moments here. Wow.
No real gotcha moments here.
No real gotcha moments here. Except for that one on Nate's side. Wow. So, Zealous coming in and taking care of Bryce's board, and Bryce has to feel pretty bad about that one.
What timing? What timing? No real gotcha moments here. Gotcha. Immediately.
Gotcha.
Zealous timing. Persecution. Giving +1/+1 to his team and -1/-1 to the opponent's team. Another swing for 2. A Wasteland on the red source. Now this is Wasteland number 3.
This is Wasteland a lot, given that Ramna was in play. Liliana not going to do too well against those spirit tokens.
No, it's going to eat a damage kill spirit. It's definitely underwhelming.
Does substantially slow down Nate's clock, though, for the meantime.
Cuts it in half and soaks up a damage. Deathrite will definitely change that, but we know that there's an abrupt decay that I assume is going to get cast now. Bryce is going to take a look through his graveyard and make sure there's another green source in there somewhere. Looks like there is. Bayou. And we'll see an abrupt decay taking care of that Deathrite Shaman. Hey, thanks for grabbing that, True Nightmare. We definitely like supporting a local podcast. So.
Definitely. All right.
A Brainstorm sees
Risefall is going to be a pretty strong one here.
Chandra. Oh, he has the San Diego Comic-Con Chandra.
So
that's cool. I haven't seen one in person yet.
We're going to see Rise be cast here, targeting the Spirit token and probably targeting a Snapcaster from the graveyard. And in response, I believe we're going to see a Brainstorm.
Yeah, this is kind of the issue with looking at a list from like a week ago, right? They're brewers. They brew a deck and then they optimize and they change. And
Flusterstorm comes in on Nate's side, saving that token and making sure that Snapcaster stays in the graveyard.
Absolutely. Baleful Strix, draw a card.
And that should be the Chandra. No, Chandra should be in hand already.
Ooh, and an attack for 4. This puts him to 5. Yeah, he's way off Chandra. The Pyroblast can't be cast. I mean, this is Wastelands winning the game. That Ramanap Excavator getting that last volcanic island is really showing its worth.
Definitely. And Deathrite gonna be a very quick clock here with Bryce at 4.
Yep, this is gonna be
Snapcaster, Flusterstorm.
1, 2, 3. Yep. So Storm is 3.
Just to make sure.
Bryce is happy to pay that since he's not doing anything else with all the red cards in his hand. He's going to put both of them back. We've got a fetch land.
That effectively keeps Bryce off of spell for the turn, and that's going to be game.
Yeah, the Flusterstorm did it. There was nothing left there. He was tapped out, dead on board. And Nate's Dark Shift deck.
All right, takes the match.
Yeah, and I think this is like the reason to be playing Stifle and Wasteland in this Ramanap Excavator. A lot of 4-color going around.
Definitely.
The deck is consistently increasing in popularity.
Some very greedy mana bases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially this deck. We didn't see Grove the Burn Willows, but like seriously.
Yep. And a lot like True Nightmare was saying, Wasteland seems pretty well positioned in this meta.
Yes. Yeah, it's a card that you're pretty happy to see against Delver. You're pretty happy to see it against 4-color. Even Miracles, you're pretty happy to have Wasteland, due to Search for Azcanta rise in popularity.
Definitely, yeah.
Poor Bryce. I was about to comment. Souls was in the side. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a great card to sideboard in, especially in a grindy matchup.
Yeah, he sees Rise fall.
Yep.
He sees Kulligan's Command and goes, maybe this is something that's going to be worth having.
Well, and who knows? Nate might even know the list, and if he does, he knows that there's cards like Chandra. He knows that he's going to have to face off against cards like Edict, and he wants to keep his bigger spells on the board.
Lingering Souls is a card that has really, really high potential against Planeswalkers. Alright, let's come back to us for a little bit.
Not a lot of time left in the round, so we'll probably see next round start up here pretty soon. Yeah, exactly. Saw Lily.
Yeah, we didn't see the Chandra or the Jace, but I mean those are just singleton cards in the deck. I'm actually just gonna go back to this view, talk about this list a little bit more.
Sure.
Now we didn't see Grove of the Burn Willows, and for that matter, we didn't see Punishing Fire either.
Yeah, we didn't.
Maybe this wasn't maybe Bryce changed that. I'm not sure, but we did see like the singleton lightning bolt, but nothing else.
Sure. Yeah. Rise Fall, really interesting in this list. Kind of acting as extra Kulligan's commands, kind of acting as a little bit of a him effect, a bit more disruption.
They work well off of Snapcaster as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Where you can like cast one effect, and later in the game you can flash back the other effect if it's more what you're looking for.
It was really kind of interesting but awkward to see the Pyroblasts in Bryce's side come in that matchup. It just seemed like they didn't really do enough.
No, Deathrite Shaman doesn't get hit. We saw Ramanep Excavator just staring it down like, haha.
Sure.
But besides that, it's just getting like little things like Spell Pierce and
right.
Yeah.
And you never really saw it when it mattered. You never saw it, say, take out a True Name or take out a Leovold or something like that.
Yeah, True Nightmare. That's exactly what we're saying. I think he worked off of the list that we're looking at right now. I'm pretty sure. I do like the decks that have so many there's not a lot of play sets, right? Like,
sure,
Deathrite Shaman, Brainstorm, and Force of Will.
Yeah.
Outside of lands.
Bunch of 1-ofs, couple 2-ofs.
A lot of versatility, but you probably do lack some amount of consistency. Brainstorms and Ponders are definitely there to keep that up. Dak Baden's also letting you see a lot of cards.
Yeah. Interesting to note, Dak Faden, I think, loses a little bit of value without the Punishing Fires in there because of the Grove interaction.
I agree. Yeah, those are like the cards you want to discard.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we don't know that if those were in or out, right?
No idea.
Yeah, we didn't get to see. Groves aren't a fetchable land.
Exactly.
So needs Lavamancer, huh? Lavamancer is definitely an amazing card.
Lavamancer would be interesting.
It kind of competes with Deathrite Shaman for your graveyard, and you're actually playing Punishing Fire, so you don't want to have to take that out. Not only that, but Snapcaster likes your cards too.
Yep.
I think Deathrite might be enough of a.
Yeah, I agree.
Lavamancer might hit your own graveyard a little too hard. Depends. It obviously depends. I just can't imagine a scenario where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm happy getting rid of my Punishing Fire to deal 2 damage.
Definitely.
Alright, looks like our round is coming to a close. And it starts over all silly. I'll just get rid of it.
Notion Thief in the main is kind of an interesting thing, and yeah, Notion Thief and Dak is the combo, right?
We didn't see him play Notion Thief game 1 though.
We
saw it game 2, and we saw it game 3.
Yeah, and the list that we were looking at only had one in the board. I could definitely see earlier versions having one in the main.
And Unearth, I do love
Unearth. Unearth would be interesting.
Yeah, it's a good card. He doesn't have a ton of creatures in his list, though.
The sideboard's really kind of an interesting thing. There's a lot of one-ofs, a lot of this and that and the other thing. It doesn't look like it's really positioned to beat any one specific thing.
No.
It looks like it's trying to beat the entire field.
Yes. Like I have a little bit of something for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nihil Spellbomb, obviously hedging against graveyard things as well as surgical extraction.
Sure.
Thoughtseize and Collective Brutality against combo decks.
Hydra Blast in there for probably a bunch of
burn.
Probably for Blood Moon decks, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense. Pulse of Marasa is another card that we've talked about. And Tyson says hi.
Hi, Cutthroat Kid.
Pulse of Marasa. We've discussed this before, but when your opponent casts an Infernal Tutor, you can Pulse of Marasa a land back to their hand.
Oh wow!
So the Infernal Tutor has to search their deck for a copy of the land.
Yeah,
and then they just because that's their last card, right? And then they just die.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very cute. I like that.
I've thought about putting it in Jund or putting it in Nick's Pit just because of that.
Yeah. That you can also Notion Thief in response if they put something back on top and crack their LEDs in response to the draw trigger. You can Notion Thief and get them.
Yeah, that's fun.
Sylvan Library is a card I like a lot in the sideboard.
Yeah, kind of surprising it's not in the main. With so much 4-color. Well, I guess that's kind of the matchup that you want it for. 4-color and Miracles probably.
Yeah, just more grindy matchups.
Yeah. Okay, where are we at?
So still waiting on pairings for the next round. Should be pretty soon. Yeah, there's Burn occasionally. Burn or blue-red Delver.
Yeah, we have... I know that we have one constant blue-red Delver player, but I know of at least 2 people who will bring Burn, but neither of them are people who are here every single week. They make it out once or twice a month.
Usually a lands deck or 2 in the room.
Usually. We had a smaller turnout tonight, though. It seems like our room is still full, but I think a lot of players are skipping FNM to jump in the pre-release tonight.
Makes sense.
Got a midnight pre-release, so if you're local, definitely get registered and
hop on down.
Join us. I for one got plenty of sleep during the day today. So I'm ready to go. Midnight tournament.
There you go.
Tournament at 11.
That's way past my bedtime.
It's past mine too, but I'm gonna get over it. Probably not till later.
Fair enough.
But no, I'm excited. You guys will have to let me know who is excited for the new set. Who's excited to play a little bit of limited.
What cards are you excited for in the new set? Pretty clear today.
Yeah. Yeah, the weather in Utah has been just fine. Not a lot of snow. Not a lot of snow so far.
Not much snow, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jorgensen pre-release weekend. Come on. 4 times a year. We get a brand new set. Look at that.
Yeah. New cards. RTFT. I don't know. Giovanni, what are you saying?
I'm sure I'm supposed to know. Yeah, I don't think of myself as much of a limited player, but whenever a new set comes out, I always enjoy playing the pre-release. You know, playing a little bit of limited, a couple drafts, a couple sealeds. I don't usually do too much more.
Yeah, there is an online store.
The best way to see our online store is through TCG Player, Giovanni. Let me see if I can. What is it? Exclamation point TCG store?
I think so.
Like that?
Possibly.
Is it like that, Jorgensen? I can't remember.
It's thinking.
Probably not. Is it all one word?
Might be one word.
I can never remember. This is what we have Jorgensen for. Well, I'm jealous, Crooks.
Well, you can send all that snow my way. I'll
Seriously.
be happy.
This guy right here is a ski instructor. Oh, it is all one word. Thank you, Jorgensen. Yeah, so Jorgensen just sent over the link to our TCG store. That should. TCG storefront.
Yep. There you go.
Yep, it looks like that's working well. You don't think you'll make it up here for the pre-release? Well, I don't blame you. It's a huge drive, isn't it? Like an hour and a half to 2 hours from Logan. Not exactly. Not a
drive.
I don't know. I can't remember exactly how far the drive is, but I distinctly remember it being like almost an hour from where I used to live, and that's like 40 minutes away from here.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe you can make it to a pre-release up there, though. Yeah.
And guys, we do have ParagonCityGames.com is a website that you can check out if you guys are looking for our streaming schedule. Kyra's here streaming pretty much every day.
Pretty much. I took this morning off.
Yeah.
Not something I do normally, but it was delightful. I know I'd be here, so. Yeah, driving back at 6 a.m. sounds terrible, and honestly, just a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So rounds are going up,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Bryce versus Terry.
That is not who is here.
And
neither of these are who is here.
Interesting. We might have some mystery matches going on.
I might have to go out and ask. No Paul's here.
That playmat.
That's definitely Paul. This is Calvin.
Hey Nate, thanks for the support. We really appreciate you guys too.
I'm gonna go check real quick.
All right.
What's going on?
We just want to make sure we got the right people in the right place. We've got people shuffling up.
All right, so we've got Calvin versus Alec.
Calvin versus Alec.
And then we've got Paul versus Nate on Dark Shift. So let's watch that. We should watch that Dark Shift deck again, huh?
Yeah.
Dark Shift versus Lands.
All right.
Get that filled in and updated for you guys real quick. Kyre scouting. I know.
So we see Wasteland, Trop, Days.
Hey Nate, thank you so much for the compliment. That goes a long way.
Wasteland, your wasteland.
Interesting.
And Paul says, "Okay, I'll play this workshop and go. Nate plays a fetch. And you have to imagine this is going to come down to whether or not Paul can find a a way to get his lands back before Nate's able to kind of create an overwhelming board position.
Yeah. Kind of guessing on our timer because it wasn't updated.
Sure.
The information that we got for this round is literally all of it is not true. Not something that normally happens. Not a single player that they put as is in our feature match area. They didn't update our start time, so well, we'll make do. We'll make do. Okay. This is probably going to be a pretty grindy matchup.
Definitely. So we see Nate put back a couple of things that don't really matter. Days is not going to be good in this matchup.
Outside of like turns 1 and 2, Days loses pretty much all value against lands after that.
And especially if Paul sequences things correctly, it's not going to have much value.
Right.
There's a card that can do some work, though, if it manages to live.
It did not.
Punishing Fire taking care of that Deathrite Shaman pretty quickly.
As it should.
Yeah.
As it should.
As it's meant to be. Thespian Stage coming down for Paul. And 2 more Deathrites coming down on Nate's side.
Now the question is and a Ponder. Now, is there a Grove of the Burn Willows in Paul's hand, or does he have some way to get these off the board? Because Deathrites are just going to wreck the Punishing Fire plan.
Sure. Now, Stage in play does mean that Paul could be pretty close to being able to Dark Depths. And here we see a crop rotation.
Yeah, this is going to get forced.
Yeah. Force pitching force.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's way too juicy to pass up.
Well, it's one of the few opportunities where you get to cast Force of Will, and it's actually like an even playing field, where usually you're 2 for 1-ing yourself. In this case, it's a card plus a land, and you're using 2 Force of Wills.
Sure.
You do lose a life, but I feel like that's definitely where you want to force.
Paul does manage to get Life from the Loam and bring back Wasteland and Factory, and that's going to get quickly eaten by a Deathrite Shaman. Stop any future activations.
And here's a Jitte, and we know that the other Deathrite Shaman gets to threaten with Spell Pierce. Not that we expect that to do too much, but a Tabernacle of Pendlevale is the draw for Paul, and that's
okay.
Relevant.
Yeah. Oh, but Dark Depths. Dark Depths coming into play, and we're going to see a Stage turning into a 2020.
Yeah.
Nice little Merit Lage token right there.
So adorable. I don't think he has it.
So we could see Deathrite get equipped, attack with Jitte, and gain some life to live an extra turn.
Looks like he goes for a Ponder, see if he can find a Swords to Plowshares.
Sure.
No such luck. And what looked like a really, really good game for Nate looks like it's going to come to a close in Paul's favor.
Yeah. So we're going to see one more last-ditch attempt here off of the Horizon Canopy. Trying to find something. Oh, and there it was, a couple cards down, too far.
Yeah, it was too far. Oh, this is round 2. I didn't update my round. That's what I needed to do. Alright, so Paul's going to take this one. Then on our backup match, we have... Oh, speaking of burn.
Hey.
Alec is playing a little bit of burn. And Calvin looks to be on this same 4-color Madness deck. What did we call it?
Punishing Thieves.
Punishing Thieves. Bryce thought he was so unique. Like, I'm going to bring this interesting list that I've run into. And Calvin's like, me too. Actually, I want to say Calvin played this last week, but it's a cool deck. It is a really cool deck, and we know that Calvin's played a lot of 4-color in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So he's probably very interested in...
He seems to love those 4-color or Grixis decks. It seems to be his wheelhouse.
Yeah, makes sense. They're very powerful.
So here we see Lightning Bolt in response to Brainstorm and Price of Progress. And that'll receive a Force of Will pretty much immediately.
Yep, and that's a empty hand from Calvin. He'll just have whatever is on the top here. Pretty sure Bryce saw this on Tuesday. Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit, but not sure everybody in our chat was here on Tuesday, so.
Well, it looks like we might be in full top deck mode here as Grim Lavamancer gets Abrupt Decay. Oh boy, second one off the top.
Now, 9 life is enough to get back into this game.
Definitely.
So, in fact, going into top deck at 9 life, I dare say that Calvin's actually in the better position.
Yeah, and with a Snapcaster in play, able to provide a little bit of offense, maybe make that clock go a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm. And we see the die that's next to Alex's life total. That is also part of his life total. I assume that's come from Grove of the Burnwillow's activations.
For sure.
Yeah, Blink. This is Nate Golia. Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing, an amazing person. Just letting you know. If you ever get the luxury of meeting him, he is just a fantastic person to be around.
It looks like our first match is drawing their opening hands again.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave this match here, and by here I mean as our backup. Yeah, I'll take that one too. All right, just getting started here.
Shuffles, cuts, look at it. Opening hand.
Yeah, the Rashad and Fort playmat is absolutely gorgeous. I agree.
Definitely.
Every time I see it, I'm like, yep, there's Paul.
Okay. So Nate's got some cards in that hand there. He's got a Pithing Needle. I believe I saw a Swords to Plowshares. And Ponder. And we're going to see a shuffle off that Ponder. And of course, only the best shuffle cams.
Yes.
Right here on Paragon City Games.
There is a Surgical Extraction for him. That's an important card to have against lands.
Definitely. Here we're going to see Mox Diamond.
Oh, Pitch Dark Depths, Pitch Dark Depths. Oh, dang it.
I think Nate's pretty well got Dark Depths covered, though, at this point. Like, he has Swords to Plowshares in hand. He's got Pithing Needle. It's pretty well covered.
Does he have a Swords to Plowshares as well?
That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think he's okay to survive. He needs to find a threat.
It doesn't look like he has a white source at the moment to cast the swords. Oh, he does. He has the Horizon Canopy.
Okay.
And Exploration coming down onto the board for Paul. He says, I'll play this Wasteland and Wasteland your land.
Yep, that seems like a good thing to do.
And gamble.
least he didn't imprint the Winter Workshop. Yeah, good thing.
Imprint? There's no imprint. Wrong Mox. Alright, so we're gambling away. And it's going to be another exploration that goes to the graveyard.
There's the factory. The factory, come on now. I wonder what he gambled for. So many options. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Jorgensen. It wasn't Life from the Loam. There's no possible way.
No.
Why would you ever go search for a card like that?
Well, it looks like Nate picked up a true name, which will be a threat, but it's going to be a little bit difficult for Nate to get up to the mana to get there. Port coming down too means that Paul might be able to start wastelanding some of these fetches as well, using the port to tap it first and then wasteland. Gamble for gamble.
I do know people who gamble to gamble, not to win. They just enjoy it.
All right, Deathrite coming into play.
Taking a life from that Horizon Canopy. Not a matchup where it's going to be too relevant.
I think that's the right move. You don't really want to crack that fetch if you don't have to, for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And I think Nate's just kind of playing around with the idea of possibly surgicaling the Life from the Loam. He's kind of wondering if Paul has a cycle land in order to buy it back in response. So now, in response to that fetch,
we see Dark Depths, Mishra's Factory, and maybe a Taiga? Or not a Taiga, sorry. He's not a 4-and-black border guy.
Definitely.
Yeah, Rollins. He's definitely planning on getting the Life from the Loam.
It's just all in the timing.
Keep in mind, yeah, it's about the timing. So the lands decks tend to play with a couple copies of cycle lands, which can save Life from the Loam. It'll draw you a card. You can replace the draw by bringing the Life from the Loam back to your hand, thus pretty much blanking the Surgical Extraction.
Yep.
Yeah. What is Dark Shift? Brick House. It's a 4-color Stifle Wasteland deck.
Yeah, Rollins. The delay is kind of bad today.
Not sure why.
We're making do as best we can.
He's not a 4-and-black border guy. No, I just saw his hand. I was trying to see, I couldn't quite see what the middle card was. Looked like it was Taiga there for a sec, but then I was like, wait a minute. No, he doesn't have FBBs or betas.
All right, we're going to see a port activation here. Nate says, yeah, that's fine. And Deathrite activating for mana, getting Pithing Needle into play.
Probably naming Thespian Stage, I would imagine.
You could make an argument for port since you do have the path to, or the Swords to Plowshares for
yeah,
for that 2020.
To name something like Ghost Quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tabernacle and Ghost Quarter coming into play.
That's awesome, True Nightmare. I've seen quite a few FBVs. They're pretty. I don't typically like foreign cards but it is nice seeing them in black border.
Mm-hmm. I think he might have named port. We haven't really seen any more port activations.
I love it. Jorgensen's like, so when's the man going to deliver those? Driver's like, I don't know. Guess you're going to have to camp out. Jorgensen's probably thinking, sacrifice I'm willing to make. You have Japanese cards for days. I don't prefer them. I find them very pretty. I just don't find them practical for playing Magic.
All right, so Molten Vortex into play on Paul's side, taking care of that death rate. Mm-hmm. And I believe Nate's just kind of toying with the idea of whether he can afford to take a turn off to play True Name, and he decides against it. He decides to ponder instead.
Trilopap, thank you so much for the follow.
Domestic whiteboard.
Domestic whiteboarder guy myself. Somebody had to say it. Thank you for Bandy. See, people hate me. I'm a like all my cards to mismatch kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody in chat just puked after hearing me say that.
There was a period of time where I had all mismatched Blood Moons.
There you go. You got so sick that you had to sell them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't actually stand life with yourself.
Yeah. Had to get rid of them.
Yep.
All right. Now that we have that fourth land, we're seeing that True Name come down, and Nate just being super careful to make sure that he's not going to die to that 2020. And we're really kind of seeing how important Life from the Loam is for Paul's deck here to work. He's not really able to race that True Name effectively at this point, and he's not really able to keep Nate off of mana either, especially with that Pithing Needle, which I assume has to be on port.
Okay. Rampaging Wall, thank you so much for the follow. It's the utmost importance to get super hate cards in white border, like Blood Moon. That's what the blue team says.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. The extra salt.
Yes. Brickhouse, yeah, that's awesome. I actually have quite a few. I guess 8 whack is a different deck than 8 rack. Yeah. Maybe
it is.
I think it is. I have a lot of mismatched stuff for 8 rack.
8 whack is the 8
it's the bushwhackers. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So we're seeing a crop rotation in response to Wasteland targeting Dark Depths. And we're going to see a force on that crop rotation. Pitching Ponder.
True Nightmare, if I were you, just get them altered. I happen to know a very, very good alterist.
Hey.
He also sits next to me on Tuesdays for commentary.
Bryce Felt.
He is fantastic.
Quite the artist. All right. So Ramnap Excavator comes into play and starts wastelanding on Paul's side and giving Paul kind of a taste of his own medicine there.
Absolutely. This is this is not going to go well for Paul. Even if he manages to keep lands going, he's not going to win off a Mana Vortex because he's never going to have enough red. Jorgensen, we're not entirely sure if it was on Thespian Stage or Rishadenport.
I think it was on port because we didn't see another port activation once it came into play.
Yeah.
But it definitely could have been on stage.
So that game was a little more what I was expecting to see from Nate. Just kind of attack your resources. You know, I have one threat. You need to answer that threat over the course of the game. And Wasteland is going to get there.
Sure. Yep.
Well, that's fun, Brickhouse. I enjoy the mismatched due to I'm just a big fan of art in general.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a person who like thinks like one art is necessarily better than the next, so I just like having as many as I can get into my deck. I'm really only saying this to mess with Crypt Sidewalks, so and it's true, so there's that. I guess there's that too. Yeah, I have my 4 different Path to Exiles as well. I never use them. Still have them.
So it looks like Nate's thinking about bringing in Lingering Souls.
Yeah, probably pretty hard for Paul to answer. Something that he can, you know, discard or Collective Brutality away if that's a card that he has.
Sure.
I've seen that as a pretty hot combo.
Yeah.
A lot recently.
Makes sense. Alright, so both players getting ready to draw opening hands. Let's see what we're working with.
Yeah, Jorgensen, it probably was on port then. The trolling is real. Somebody had to. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. No, I see people with, you know, with their decks with every card matching. I find it beautiful. You know, I just like it when people have the option to kind of pimp out their deck in the way that they want.
Sure.
Whether it's all foiling it out, whether it's getting nice, you know, 4 and black borders or basic or like unlimited lands or what, you know, whatever their preference is. I just find it interesting. You can kind of
see people's personalities kind of shine through their deck a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a guy who likes chaos. I'm not gonna lie. I like to have a lot to look at. I've got an ADD mind. So
So we saw a exploration get forced pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Second one coming down here on Paul's side.
This has got to be a little annoying for Nate because this is the exact kind of card we want to get rid of. He succeeds, and then there's a backup.
Definitely, yeah.
And Paul's probably feeling great about this. My opponent just 2-for-1'd, or just gave me a 2-for-1, right? And I have a replacement. So nothing was lost. Maybe it slows him down a turn. Maybe not even.
Deathrite in play and double stage. Double Grove on Paul's side. If he ever does find a Punishing Fire, that's going to be an interesting thing. And here we see a crop rotation coming in.
Yeah, this is going to go get Dark Depths.
This might be a pretty quick game. We're going to see a 2020 come into play here real quick. There's that beautiful Merit Lage token from Cats and Cantrips.
WoW Watcher says that he pimps his out by getting the cheapest version of everything. It's like the dollar menu of deck building. WoW Watchers, that was the most beautiful way you could put that. Respect.
All right, so we're going to see a Ponder, and I think Nate's pretty much on the swords or
Wasteland is a turn too late.
Or bust. He might have a edict effect of some kind. But I'm not seeing any in those top 3.
Looks like the cards on top.
He's fine to keep it. He does have a land drop to get this turn, I believe, so he might be able to use 2 more cantrips potentially and still take care of a 20/20.
Yeah, rethinking what land he's going to grab. He knows it needs to tap for blue.
Yeah.
He plans on pondering with it.
Sure.
Paul's got to be feeling pretty good about what's going on. We get to see 3 brand new cards. There's a Brainstorm, a Ramanep Excavator, and was that a Bitter Blossom?
Might have been a Surgical.
I could not tell. I don't know why, but just at glance, it looked like a Bitter Blossom, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good."
It's going to be a quick shuffle for
Snapcaster.
Yep.
That doesn't
Not
do
enough.
it. Paul's going to take care of the Dark Shift deck, aka Bant Stifle. I guess 4-color Stifle, also known as Big Delva. If any of you joined us for our Legacy 1K, it also got the name Big Delva. But since he added black to the deck, it's been Dark Shift. So.
Fair enough.
All right, let's take a look at our other match.
And
where we left off in the last match, I got to keep up with their first game for a while. It looked like I believe Calvin took care of it, but I'll leave the match at 0-0 until we know.
So here we see some pretty similar life totals to last game, but slightly different board state. We see 2 Deathrights in play on Calvin's side, and one of them getting bolted right away. We see Calvin at 9 life, while Alex at 24.
Now, bolting 1 Deathright is kind of funny because by doing so, you actually let them gain 2 life.
Sure.
Now that may or may not be relevant, but here's a Lava Spike. You can give it a shot, Vervandy. Oh, and look at that. There's that Pulse of Marasa.
Wow.
Let me pull that up. That's not a card we see every day.
That's doing some work today. So, Pulse of Marasa. 2 colors, green instant. Return target creature or land card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. You gain 6 life. And both of those modes being completely relevant.
Everything
on Calvin's side.
Everything seems great about this card. I mean, three mana is a lot.
Yep.
However, it is an instant.
Yep.
It returns something relevant from your graveyard to your hand. You gain 6 life.
Definitely.
Gaining 6 life against a burn deck is like one of the best possible things you can do.
Oh, yeah.
So, liking what I'm seeing out of this card so far. And as I've mentioned earlier in the stream, people have used it against Storm. When the opponent casts Infernal Tutor, you can put a land from their hand or from their graveyard into their hand.
Mm-hmm.
You just target a creature or land from a graveyard and put it to its owner's hand. So you'll get a land, you'll put it into the Storm player's hand, and then they have to search for a copy of that land with their Infernal Tutor.
Very cute.
Very cute. Yes, it's actually just adorable.
Exquisite Firecraft coming across for 4 damage on Alex's side of the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You get the pulse, and then you can snapcaster it back.
Yeah.
And it gets even more fun when you have a good creature to bring back.
Well, if you have a Snapcaster in the graveyard, you can pulse return the Snapcaster, and then Snapcaster pulse again.
Once it's exiled, it's out. But
does pulse exile itself?
No, when you snap it back, I mean.
Yeah. But you can pulse for a Snapcaster in your graveyard.
Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, Moses the Cute. No problem. We really enjoy having 2 matches. Makes it so there's less dead time on air.
Mm-hmm.
There's still usually a little dead time at the end of rounds, but you can just chat with us and hang out for a minute while we wait I think most streams just kind of leave it blank. We like to talk about random things or the match that just happened.
It's almost like we like Magic.
It is. Almost. So close.
Sometimes. E-Witness and Pulse Cycling. Yeah, that's pretty good.
When it was in Standard, I played it with Goblin Dark Dwellers.
Ooh.
I'd like have a Goblin Dark Dwellers in my graveyard. I'd like cast Pulse, go get Goblin Dark Dwellers back, just like you said with Snapcaster. Kind of had that same effect.
Seems good.
So he's opting to get Polluted Delta with the Pulse. Here's a Price of Progress. This is going to deal lethal damage. Yep, that is lethal.
Wow. And yeah, that's going to be the game.
I think Burn got the match then.
Could be.
No, this is something that that 4-color decks are having an issue with, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is another big reason for Blue-Red Delver.
Yep.
Blue-Red Delver's had a pretty strong comeback recently, and I think it's due to the fact that they get to run Price of Progress. It really wrecks the 4-color control decks, and it also gets lands bad.
Yeah.
It gets lands real good. It doesn't...
Makes a lot of sense for the format where it is right now.
And a lot of decks will like board in Leyline of Sanctity, and it doesn't target. So, you know, there's you have creature damage, you have Eidolon's triggers,
sure, yeah.
and you have a Price of Progress that can kind of get past things like Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Definitely.
Pretty good.
Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of you here. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we've got one more round. I'm guessing close to 10 minutes-ish left in this round. And we're gonna see lands against something in the finals.
Mm-hmm. If you guys like what you're seeing and you haven't already, please feel free to follow us, and you'll know when we're going live. We do this every week.
Every Tuesday and every Friday. We have 4 rounds on Tuesday, 3 rounds on Friday. It's a great time.
And if you really like what you're seeing, feel free to subscribe as well. We love having new subscribers and new friends of the stream. Yeah,
you also gain access to our loan emoticon.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get the $10 and $25 subscription ones up pretty soon, but right now we just have the one. It's our Found It emote for all those who like finding Azcanta.
All those.
Or finding the thing that you needed.
Mm-hmm.
I approve of using that whenever we find it.
Found it.
A couple other little plugs. So if you like tokens, let's share this one. Share this one. If I hit the...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go. There's the Found It.
Found it.
We've teamed up with Cats and Cantrips, and there's multiple places you can get these. I want to say they're going up on our website here pretty soon, if they're not already up on our website.
You gonna switch over?
In a moment. I just want to check first.
So you may have seen a couple of the tokens so far on stream. We've seen Merit Lage a couple of times. We've seen some of the Spirit tokens. And there's all sorts of different types of tokens that you can get. And they're constantly coming out with more different tokens.
Yeah, and for the pre-release, we got a stack of these.
City's Blessing. Awesome.
I know. I was pretty happy to see that these got, you know, we got our shipment of these before the pre-release tonight.
That's great.
I for one will definitely be getting my one City's Blessing with my tournament entry.
Oh yeah.
And then thought I'd just show a couple of my favorites. We recently got our bird. That's for the blue white ones for Devscape.
Yep.
I've been playing a lot of Nyx Fit. So yeah, the token blessing is very pretty. I think it's gorgeous. Kind of a different style than what we see from her with the creatures, right?
City in a bottle. Great.
This one is a crowd favorite for sure.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get your young pyromancer tokens.
Mm-hmm.
You like the clue token? Yeah, that one's a recent one. Here, let me go back to that one. Yeah, this one's one of our newest.
Yeah, I like the paw prints.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I love about it is it has a magnifying glass, just like our Found It emoticon.
Exactly.
But like it was just funny because when she found us, Cats and Cantrips, she had a bunch of standard tokens laid out, and we were like, well, most of what we do is legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And since then it's been like Knight Ally for Gideon and Merit Lage.
It's
and
great.
Yeah, and then like the birds, the wolf, and the clue. We've had a couple other great ones as well. Let's view all. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit more.
Fairy Rogues for Bitter Blossoms.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, the plant.
Lovely spirit tokens that we saw earlier.
Oh yeah. It just says how to be spooky. Oh, maybe make this a little bit bigger. There we go. I have like 8 of those.
A germ token for Buyer Skull.
The kobold is excellent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it says eat me.
Eat me.
The germ is holding a batter skull.
Mm-hmm.
as germs do.
Well, yeah.
They're kind of known for it.
That's what they do.
The Thopter is probably my favorite token. I don't know, just the simplicity.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
Oh, and we've got 2/2 bird off of Swan Song. That's a pretty good one. The zombie token, pretty good one.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yep.
For sure. Had to be a swan.
Oh yeah,
had to be a swan. Yeah, these are Master of the Wave elementals.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking merfolk, everybody who's in chat, if you're thinking merfolk, get your elemental tokens.
Oh yeah.
Like she sells them in packages of 10. Another way that you can buy these, if I want to say we sell them in packages of 5 on eBay. If you look up Cats and Cantrips on eBay, or you look up the Paragon City Games store in eBay, you can find them there as well. The treasure is one of my favorites as well.
That's a good one. I like the top and the lotus, and
yeah, it has all the power.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is it a Corgi Knight Ally? Oh, where was it?
Towards the top.
Was it? Oh, the monk is right here. Where tiger form? Here, I'll stop here real quick. There's a lightning bolt and a ponder.
Yeah.
Did I miss it? What's wrong with me?
Right there.
There we go. Here's your Knight Ally. Is that a Corgi? I
don't know.
I'm
looks
not
almost Corgi-ish, but
I'm not familiar with types of dogs. The dog that's in my house, I don't actually know what kind of dog it is. I'm just bad at this game. Oh, the new Death Touch Wolf. This is for Garrick Relentless. I've been playing it in Nyx Fit, so this kind of got prioritized.
Oh, I love it.
That's another thing to mention. We have a couple more minutes. Let me show. I'm gonna plug you guys our Patreon as well. So the link I'm giving you right now, this is for new and upcoming tokens. If you like the tokens and you want to keep up to date on them, every single month Cats and Cantrips makes 5 new tokens, and you can set up a monthly thing to get delivered each token. There are many different options. If you just want to do the $5 a month, then you can get one of each new one of each of the new 5 tokens. Oh man, I'm talking real good, aren't I? Yeah, and then the higher up you go, the more things you get. The $15 one is my favorite. You get 3 of the token. You get 3 random tokens from a previous month, and you also get to submit an idea for a new token. So if you have an EDH deck, if you play Modern, if you play Standard, and we don't have your token, then you can do this. I mean, even if you do it for 1 month, you still you're essentially commissioning for $15 your own token.
Yeah.
And you get that month's tokens, which to me is just amazing value.
Oh yeah. So if you've got a specific token that you like, either in Standard, Modern, Legacy, EDH, whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, Yoruga, the Death Touch Wolf, I use Garruk Relentless in my Legacy deck. So I use it regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And it is super, super adorable. So yeah, we're looking to get more Patreons on here as well. This is pretty new, so not too many Patreons yet, but still good to see the recent things that have come.
Yeah. Couple more minutes before the end of the round.
Okay. Well, until it starts, I guess I'm just going to keep doing plugs, huh? Keep showing you guys cool things. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys is Bryce Felt's altars. So if you ever tune into Paragon City Games stream on Tuesdays, we have Bryce. I'll have Bryce sitting
where I am,
where Matt is right now, and oh, Titania Elemental. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanna become a patron, for $15,
you can get those tokens.
You can get 3 of each of the new month's tokens. So that's 15 tokens plus 3 random previous month tokens, and you get to submit for your elemental. That's I don't know. I think that's fantastic. I mean, I've done it, so I know that it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's how we have a Death Touch Wolf and a dove.
It's great.
But yeah, so this is Bryce's Facebook page for his altars.
Look at those gorgeous tinder walls.
He has people commission him. You know, come to him and say, "Hey, this is 5/3 tokens." I know, right? You know, they go, "Hey, I don't have a foil version for, Tinder Wall. There's no foil version of this. Can you pretty this up for us?" And Bryce is able to do what, in my opinion, is an amazing job. Looking at the original art of Tinder Wall, I looked at it and I'm like, there's not much you can do with that. Because most people that commission Bryce want their card to be tournament playable.
Yep.
Which means the original art actually has to be recognizable on the card to be able to play in tournament.
Definitely.
In sanctioned tournaments. So Tinder Wall, he's leaving the wall of Tinder here in the guy.
Yep.
Which is awesome. He also does great foil altars. I'm pretty sure
that's gorgeous.
I'm pretty sure it's Brian who owns these. He has a play set of Bryce's foil Deathrite Shamans. They are gorgeous. One of my favorite things about his altars is that he does bring it out to the border, but he doesn't typically disrupt any of the text.
Yep.
He leaves the art recognizable. I like this in an altar,
It's very clean too.
Yes. He's also been working on a test storm, or the epic storm, I should say. And these dark rituals are quite recent, as well as
great
somebody's spirit guides. The same. These are also for the same guy who wanted the Tinder Walls.
Sure.
They match pretty well.
Yeah.
Super gorgeous. And then he did this island for me.
All the dark arts on the lands. Yeah.
I'm going to show those down. Yeah, this one's one of my favorites. So, super cool. I actually, I think I had this altar for a week or two before he mentioned how he did it. So what he does is, he'll take tape and tape off all the card but the art, and he spray paints black paint,
Mm-hmm.
and then he dabs and takes paint off to do this.
Awesome.
So all of the color that you see in this art, all of it is original card.
Cool.
Which I find fascinating. Some ponders and burning wishes. You can always I'll link that to you guys if you're interested in altar. He'd probably be happy to do them. He tends to like to stick in his style.
Yeah.
So these are more that he did for me.
I like that one a lot. I think that's really cool. I love the effect on the moon back there.
That's the original color of the
Yep.
of the card.
Exactly.
Pretty awesome. Last but not least. So they were all Urza Saga basics.
Yeah. And if you look at the original versions, it's really quite easy to tell that they're the nighttime versions of those cards.
Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting. Yeah, so these ones probably wouldn't be tournament playable. There's way too much
right
paint on this, but he built this. He did this for an EDH deck.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, he even says something different. That forest is your favorite?
Forest is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, he made it nighttime, and then he added lanterns, and then you can kind of see where the lanterns hit the trees. Agreed, Brickhouse. This is one of my favorites, and owning it is an honor. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Some cool Korean delvers.
Mm-hmm. Very pretty counterspell with a gold border.
Yeah. Now we gave this young pyromancer away during our 24-hour stream.
Oh yeah.
I forgot that he did the token for it too. He also, oh yeah, the Rite of Flames.
More cards for that same test deck.
Yeah.
So that should be about time in the round.
Yeah, pretty, if not pretty close. I'm sure we'll see people sitting down here in a moment.
Mm-hmm. As soon as they do, we'll get right back to the legacy action for one last round for you guys.
And get rid of that timer so it's not too intimidating. Yeah, and then we also gave away this counter spell.
Great.
During our 24-hour stream as well. Really just a fan, and I think the white border looks really pretty on, with such a dark.
Definitely, yeah.
Focus on the card. Did a cover up for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, somebody traded this card away, right? And somebody's like, "Hey, can you make this look better?" Another white border card that I look at and I'm like, I love how the paint kind of trickles onto the white border.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't know why you would want all your stuff to have haste. Such a silly thing.
Teamer Battle Rage in Russian.
Really gorgeous. When will the stuff be delivered? I'm having everything from the information that I have I'm sending it this weekend. I've been compiling all the information from people, and I'll be sending him probably today or tomorrow. So expect Drunken Bandits, expect a message from me very, very soon. Probably within the next 2 days. In fact, probably just tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm probably getting them out tomorrow after I'm done with my pre-release. So that's
right.
my project. Yeah, thanks for inquiring about that. I have I don't know. It's been like 2 weeks and I haven't sent them out yet. Oh yeah, the Atraxa. Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of a pricey card to be altering, but man, did he nail it.
Definitely.
I like how he'll tilt the card and it kind of shows where he's allowed the foil to seep through.
Guru Brainstorm.
If you wanted everything to match in your deck.
Just in case you wanted a full Guru deck.
That's right. Oh, these Lingering Souls. And this makes me so sad because my Legacy deck plays 4 Lingering Souls in it.
Yeah.
And guess, these are not tournament legal.
No, they're not.
They're not tournament legal at all. And it makes me sad because Bryce still has these. Yep. He has not sold them yet. And I'm looking at him going, but if I could play with them, I'd buy them immediately. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so sad. Come on, Wizards. Let people play with cooler cards. Oh, I think they are fantastic. Is that the bottom? No.
That's it. No more.
All right, guys. I scrolled through all the altars that he's posted. So in the meantime, let's get back to us real quick.
Hello.
And we'll hang out for a couple more minutes while we wait for our round to go up. Oh, it's going up right now. Thank goodness. Right. I like go over to our chat sheet and it's being updated.
Getting ready.
All right, let's give you guys a new timer.
So likely we'll have lands versus something, and
yes.
I'm assuming we'll also have burn versus something.
We'll probably see Dark Shift on our backup match.
Might be burn versus Dark Shift.
I think burn won.
Oh.
I think it's burn versus lands.
Dark Shift versus unknown. Something like that.
Maybe versus Calvin's 4-color.
Could be, yeah.
Okay, people aren't quite sitting down yet.
We're just getting names right now, so it looks like
it is Paul versus Alec.
Paul versus Alex, so that'll be lands versus burn. And Davis versus Calvin.
Okay. It's probably Sneak and Show.
So we saw Calvin on that 4-color list. 4-color thieves list.
Andy Prime, he actually sells through commission. So you would want to contact him through Facebook. I think I linked it earlier in the chat, or I think it's just facebook.com / Bryce. Or I think it's Felt Altars.
Felt Altars.
Here, I'll link it one more time. That is the best place to get in touch with him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. People are about to get seated, and we'll be on our way. Just need people to...
Finally, more Legacy.
Thank goodness.
I was worried for a minute.
I was floundering. Trying to keep people's interest for a little bit longer. Hold on, people. We have another round.
More Legacy. We promise.
All right, get everything updated here. I haven't seen the burn versus lands matchup.
Yeah.
Often on camera, but burn has a pretty good matchup until a glacial chasm has been found.
Sure.
And then things go south for the burn player very quickly.
Or you also have to imagine there's a scenario where you can see a very quick 2020 come out, and that's going to be very hard to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, Burn winning the tournament would be pretty cool. We've definitely seen Burn win a number of tournaments here, but we've seen Lands win many, many more. So it'd be kind of cool to see Burn take it down. And honestly, Burn has some great matchups. As people play greedier mana bases, the better Burn gets.
Yeah. We just saw Price of Progress
deal 8
do
damage.
An amazing amount of damage.
Calvin's like fighting over something, taps out, and Alex just like, okay,
yeah,
you're taking 8. I'll take 0.
Calvin definitely paid the price. Yeah.
Good call. Good call. Well done. You're definitely taking Bryce's spot. Your puns might be a little better than Bryce's, but don't ever tell him I said that. I know we're gonna get a comment from Bryce in like 2 seconds. Like I was lurking. I heard that. Nah, he's got a round to play. Okay. Yeah, we'll start here.
All right. Shuffling going on.
Okay. Getting started. It looks like our backup match, maybe they don't want to be on camera.
Well, regardless, we'll start over here with the lands versus burn matchup.
Yeah, people do have the option to be on camera. They don't have to be if they don't want to.
Sure.
Our floor people are supposed to find us another backup match, but looks like that.
Sometimes it's a little bit difficult.
It can be difficult, especially with
so many people in the room.
Mm-hmm. Our Fridays are crazy here, guys. Between like 60 and 90 people, all packed in.
Mm-hmm.
Playing standard, playing modern, playing legacy, drafting when the drafting format is newer.
Getting ready for pre-releasing.
Mm-hmm. I know I'll be doing that here in a moment.
It looks like Alex pretty happy with his hand. Paul's gonna shuffle a bit more and see what he can do. Down to 6. Takes a look, scries to the top. Oh, to the bottom. And all right, burns on the play. So Rift Bolt suspend.
Our new dice. They're just so much better.
Much easier to see, that's for sure.
Verdant Catacombs. Diamond's gonna throw away Mishra's Factory.
Alec gonna take a look, make sure that that is a factory and that he knows what it does.
Not the worst idea. 3 damage going upstairs. And we see a Swift Spear and a Rift Bolt kind of shuffling around at the top of the hand there.
Sure.
But
only
no
one
second land.
Interesting. Second Mox Diamond coming down. Now we're going to see a fetch.
Probably basic forest. I can't imagine he wants anything but basics. Once you know you're playing against burn or like a blue-red Delver deck, you typically want to go for basics.
Sure.
Price of Progress is very real and very scary. So that's what I expect to see. Yeah.
And in Alex's hand, we see Lightning Bolt, Eidolon, Swift Spear, and I didn't get a look at the other card.
Jay Winter, not entirely normal, no. I think he's waiting for, he wants to find another land so that he can play Swift Spear and Lava Spike face and get 5 damage in that way. But whereas if he just uses his 1 mana for Swift Spear, it's very possible that it gets Punishing Fired and there's no possible way to get any more value.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Rift Bolt line is pretty good. Fire Blast is the draw. That is not what he's looking for at all. He doesn't even have 2 mountains to throw.
Sure. Paul down to 12. We do see a Dark Depths in play, and if he can find either a stage or a crop rotation, we could see this game go pretty quickly.
And if there's a mountain drawn, then it could easily be,
exactly
opposite. Just a straight up win from Alec.
Bolt you, fire blast you, something along those lines.
So this is something. Oh wow, he's actually going for the win this next turn.
Here comes Dark Depths, make it 20/20, and that'll easily block any damage from the Swift Spear.
So I don't see a way that all this. No, the damage not enough damage there. It needed to be a land, and even then, it probably the sequence. I don't even think he can deal that much damage. Just a little bit
rough. I think Alec just needed to see another land there, and if he sees that land in the first couple turns, he's fine. But it just kind of evades him by a little bit. So, on Alec's side, what do you have in this matchup that you can side in against lands?
Let me refer to a sideboard so I can actually see some things.
I suppose you might see Smash to Smithereens. You might be able to take out some of those Mox diamonds. Try to slow down Paul a little bit.
Yeah, it would definitely do something. The other cards that are pretty common for the deck are Searing Blood, Pyrostatic Pillar, Pyroclasm, Red Elemental Blast. I don't see much of this doing anything.
I could see Tormod's Crypts coming in if he has any, in order to get rid of some Life from the Loams.
Yeah.
But even then, he's going to have to be a little bit...
burn spells.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know,
like
maybe
I
lands.
could see taking out something like what was it?
He could have Molten Rain.
Molten Rain might be an option.
There are many different cards that I just kind of like pulled up a random sideboard.
Exquisite Firecraft could be a card that comes out. 3 damage or 3 mana for 4 damage is not a great rate for Alec, especially when the uncounter ability doesn't matter.
Right.
Yoruga, you're correct, but he didn't have a Swift Spear in play at the time.
If he had gone turn 1 Swift Spear, then like the next turn he suspends and he's only hit for 2. I mean, I guess I think it was his first draw though, so it was kind of awkward because Rift Bolt, you suspend it and then the next turn it gets played. So by playing Swift Spear, it opens the door for your opponent to Punishing Fire it.
Sure.
And there's no untapped mana, so you just kind of get a free Punishing Fire without having to deal with any repercussion.
Yeah, if he's playing Searing Blood or Searing Blaze, those come out too.
Yeah, those are pretty terrible.
Those are definitely coming out if he has them. Interesting to see how many damage can't be prevented spells he has. How does that interact with Glacial Chasm?
Can't think of he does, or we saw one, right? It's what's the 3 mana card that deals 4 damage?
Exquisite Firecraft.
Thank you, Exquisite Firecraft. Yeah, we did see one from him earlier in the tournament, and I would expect that to be a pretty good card going forward. We're gonna find out.
All right.
Find out.
So, opening hands being drawn over here. We'll get to see if Alec is able to solve the puzzle that is the lands matchup.
And something that was mentioned, True Nightmare mentions that Ensnaring Bridge and Smash to Smithereens. Oh yeah, Smash to Smithereens is good to be able to deal with Sphere of Resistance, which I would expect Paul to bring in.
Definitely.
But Goblin Guide is the start. It's pretty strong. Mox Diamond is going to throw away a Taiga.
Ensnaring Bridge would be an interesting one. Burn does have a tendency to have to deal with its own creatures, so here comes that Sphere, just like we were talking about, actually, coming into play. That's going to make spells cost a bit more for Alec. Slow him down a little bit.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Firecraft is still prevented. It just can't be countered. I thought it was both. I don't know why. I'm kind of mixing up Flame Slash with Exquisite Firecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Flame Slash would do it, but you have to have a power 4 creature on the board, which isn't something that the burn deck's ever going to get. Sphere of Resistance down. That's a pretty good card for Paul.
Yeah, Alec was able to add his Swift Sphere into play, and that's going to help kind of relieve some of that pressure from the Sphere, because he's going to be able to get extra damage out of his creature. Second Sphere on top, though, is going to be kind of hard to fight through, especially if this factory is able to get through for a block.
Yeah, this is a really, really important Mishra's Factory as well.
Wow.
No instant speed spellcast. Interesting. It looks like Eidolon is going to be the choice card here. I'm pretty sure Eidolon looks at converted mana cost.
It does. Yeah. So here we see a crop rotation in response. That's going to get a Dark Depths. That's also going to shuffle away the Sphere of Resistance that was on top that we saw for the Goblin Guide. Paul looking he's in a pretty good position here at 13 life.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the kill.
So here we see another very quick 20/20 coming into play. Fourth land in play for Alec.
Yeah, it looks like he's dead.
And yeah,
Lands just cleans this one up very, very easily.
Very quickly. Don't think that there's any way out of this for Alec based on what's in his hand. I see, looks like a bolt, not much else. He's going to swing in and see what happens here. Look at the top card.
Burning Catacombs will go to hand.
We see a Price of Progress. That's going to get cast for 3.
Yep.
And he says, "Yep, I've got these cards. Not quite enough."
William, no, we don't feature anything other than Legacy for our live Magic tournaments. We do have plans to branch into Modern at some point. Probably once we hit our goal of partnering with Twitch, we can start doing more live tournaments for different formats. But we're not going to be doing the Sealed tournament.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for our Legacy events today. Lands takes the tournament with a pretty easy finals match there. It seemed like Burn really wasn't able to get much going.
Yeah, and Paul did win our 1K.
Yeah,
like he's
a strong player. Yeah,
very, very seasoned Lands player.
Mm-hmm.
He knows where he needs to be in each matchup. He knows what cards are key.
No Teamer Energy Mirrors.
Nope. Sorry, Jorgensen. I know how badly you wanted to watch Teamer Energy Mirrors. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody who's hanging out with us today. We are going to call it here, but for future reference, I do stream Legacy Monday through Friday. I usually start 11 a.m. to noon Mountain Standard Time, and then we have Legacy tournaments, 4 rounds on Tuesday, 3 rounds on Fridays, and those start at 7 on Tuesday and 7:30 on Friday, also Mountain Standard Time. So thank you so much for joining us, and to that, Hail Heroes.
Hail Heroes.